Happy Sunday night and welcome to Ask Away. I'm Coach MK and my hair. Oh, you ever had your hair dry wrong and it like hurts? It's like in one position and it hurts. That's where I'm at right now. Sorry for the delay tonight in Ask Away. I'm not going to lie to you. Here's what happened. It was Pokemon Community Day and I just didn't want to come back because coming back would mean coming home to a daughter. My youngest is refusing to potty train. As a matter of fact, she's kind of against it and has just started pooping on the floor. And I didn't want to come home to that. So I stayed out a little extra long, a little extra late, ate a little too much ice cream, and my tummy is paying for it now. But the one thing I did not want to do is skip out on y'all because it's not your fault. My daughter wants to poop on the floor, and it's not your fault that I wasn't excited to come home tonight. Fingers crossed tomorrow. She's a little more excited about using the potty. But I'm Coach MK, and this is Ask Away. We've got only one good question tonight, but a whole lot of weekly wins. So I'm going to go through all those wins. We're going to count them up and answer the one question. And then I'm going to go wash my hair and hope it doesn't hurt like this anymore. Here we go. So in rebuild, Annie Charest says, beautiful sunny day here. I ran for 37 minutes and had to listen to my body and walk the rest of the way. But still, I did it. Congratulations, Annie. Christine Lancaster is 50s and drizzly, which made for a nice outdoor run. She's been focusing this week on foam rolling and alignment, and it's paying off. This was the most she's been able to run in 1 week since mid-February. And while she doesn't feel like it was very much, it's still getting there. It's still forward progress, and she's grateful for that. And Christine, again, as usual, no one has dealt with more this year than you, or past 3 years really than you. So I'm proud of you for doing the right thing, for sticking it out, and for giving yourself credit where credit is due. Lana Nelson walked 53 minutes and managed to get 5 days of movement in this week. That's huge. Congratulations. Last time that happened was last July. I haven't started strength yet, but I'll get there. Feeling good about this week and about this day. Congratulations, Lana. I feel good about that. I'm happy for you. I really am, because I know that the problem right now with April is that, unlike last year, there's no Tiger King to save us. And things really aren't that different. Even if you have the vaccine, even if things are looking up, even if things are starting to shift, a lot of the headlines look alarmingly the same, like COVID surge is shutting things down, and it's a lot. So if you're overwhelmed, again, give yourself some credit for making it this far into a pandemic. There's no should at the moment. We're just glad that you're still showing up for yourself in whatever way you possibly can. Christian Fraser says, hey, quick follow-up for the ED dietitian. I absolutely adore her and her therapy dog, Peanut. She made a few connections in our first session that were new and powerful, and I'm looking forward to working with her. I'm excited for you. It's always so hard to find a good dietitian because so many of us, whether or not you've ever been formally diagnosed with an eating disorder, most of our habits, most of our thought patterns around food are completely unhealthy. So it's possible to have disordered thinking, even if you don't have straight up disordered habits. And everything we've been taught to think about diet and nutrition is disordered. So congratulations. I'm proud of you for doing the work to break the ties that bind us to really bad and harmful choices. That's amazing. And therapy dogs, hell yeah, especially the little ones named Peanut. Erin Harkness, mother of Brighton, had a good 30-minute run with some pickups in the middle. Felt good to remember that she can run fast, even if only for a few seconds at a time. But that baby is cute. I promise it's all going to come back, Erin. I really do. I know it's frustrating. I know it's going to take, it's not going to come overnight. It might take a little bit longer than it did with the first, but I promise you're going to get back there because, again, I know you're going to do all the right things. Catherine Cummins is going to try to squeeze in a walk trot. Totally should have gotten up early to get it done before school, but Disney tired really is a thing, y'all. Who knew? I did. I watched everybody else get Disney tired and need a vacation to recover from their vacation. And I tell you what, this is why I have not been to Disney yet. I would rather watch it on TV, hear about it, than have to experience it, because that sounds real. I don't even want to go to the grocery store with my 4 kids, y'all. Hell if I'm doing Disney anytime soon. But I'm not going to kick myself too hard if the run doesn't happen. Didn't get home from spring break until late Saturday night. And the older I get, the more recovery time I need from the happy times. Definitely looking forward to logging some walk trot time tomorrow, though. I hope you ate all the funnel cakes because I'm celiac and I can't have them at all. And I hope you had an amazing, amazing spring break. That sounds like a lot of fun. It really does. I just think about the grocery store is hard. Will anything ever be fun with 4 children out? And the truth is, something like Disney is actually pretty amazing. So kudos to you for being an amazing mom. Amanda Blockinger Bailey got up for early what I did run and saw a pretty moon. I'm happy because my kids are finally back in person for school part-time, and my anxious first grader is so happy to be learning in person, even without his BFF in class. Tell you what, that's a journey, right? Our kids, we're starting to see, or at least I'm definitely starting to see, the strain the pandemic has taken on my children. It really has impacted their mental health in different ways. And it's hard because I don't have any answers. This is all unprecedented. Not that I ever will have answers, but there are things that I have experienced and can assist them in navigating. And there are things where I'm just like, I don't know, I have to Google it. And I don't even know that we can Google good advice right now since we're all living through it for the first time in a century. So I'm glad that something feels normal for your kid, Amanda. Trish Thorne ran 8 miles in one of her favorite spots, which had some nice springtime blooms, and it was lovely. I hope those springtime blooms are faring better than our tulips out there, because after all the heat, snow, I think my bulbs they've kicked the bucket. But I'm too scared to go dig them up and try to find out. Brenda Haskell, Joy, and I went to a beautiful trail system and had the best 7-mile foray into the forest. And we had a hilarious time pretending to pose like social media influencers. I'm going to have to go back and find those photos. I probably missed them. That sounds amazing. Amy Wilson. By the way, Amy ran a marathon today. Go to our Instagram, Fitness Protection LLC, and check it out. Congratulations, Amy. I know it might not have been what you were dreaming of, but you know what? You got to race. So many of us aren't sure whether or not we'll get to race this year. So low key, even a bad race is better than no race, and I'm a little jealous of you. Spring's going to pop pretty soon in New Hampshire if these warm temperatures keep up. It was 81 degrees at one point today, and tomorrow's going to be 15 cloudy for the marathon. So yay, you had great marathon weather, and that doesn't suck. Alicia Budd had an 8-mile run or slog today. The pollen is still crazy here, and I could feel it in my chest. I tell you what, here's the thing about pollen, spring. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I mean it. If you have to wash it off your car windshield, reminder, that is being filtered out of your lungs. Even if you're in a house, even if you're not sleeping in a tent outside, that same amount is getting to you by hook or by crook. So if you're having a hard time right now, it's not you. There's a lot of this right now. Now, I love trees. I don't hate trees for this. I'm not saying let's cut down all the trees because they make me sneeze, though that rhymes. What I will say, though, is there are rhythms that I'm learning to get into that have to do with like the timing. And if I take a Zyrtec in the morning and I take the Sudafed at a certain time in the evening, then I can avoid that spike in heart rate and shallow breathing that tends to come with pseudoepinephrine and makes it a little bit harder to get a workout done. So play around with the timing of your medication too. I started taking mine right after dinner around 7 o'clock and about an hour after I wake up around 8 in the morning. And that has made a huge difference for me allergy wise, because man, squirting Flonase in my nose, there's never going to be a good time for that. Karina Hall survived her younger son's wedding. Oh, congratulations. Oh, I hope it makes you grandma so soon. I want to be a grandma. It's going to be fun. My mother used to come for a week every month. And she's one of those grandmas who's addicted to being a grandma. And she's coming for the first time in a year on Thursday. So I will be getting out of Dodge, running, screaming, because I don't want to be anywhere near the grandmama explosion, which is going to be ridiculous. She's coming with her sister, and they're going to spoil the children, and they can just do it without us watching for a couple of days. My husband and I drive to the Grand Canyon. I have never been, and I'm really excited about that. So if you've been to Grand Canyon and have something that you think I need to see, let me know. Put it in the comments. Dan Felton explored the woods down here in North Carolina following the mountain bike trails. His friends are now asking to run routes in shape as one buddy's kid thought it was a dinosaur. Those photos were amazing. I never would have pictured you as the sort of person that would spell out words and draw shapes in Strava, but here we are, Dan. You blow my mind a little more every time you make a comment. So, and the one question we have is in from Maintain. Hi, I am still working on my sweat salt recovery. Took a few of the Salt Stick Fast Chews during and after my long run yesterday for 2.5 hours, and it helped with a better recovery. The soreness went away really quickly, no cramping. Yes. I think generally, though, something is off, perhaps with my mineral balance. Prone to high blood pressure, I lay off of salt as best I can, but I need that in some form, right? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to the doctor for a routine checkup Monday. I'm sure my doctor will have a suggestion, but anything specific you think I should ask for in terms of a urine or blood check? Anything else to ask? If it matters at all, I am male and 44. Thanks. So the first thing is that hydration isn't just what you think of it as what you consume. It's not just what you drink or or the timing of it, but it's also what you eat. One of the reasons that bananas are so popular with triathletes is that they are very high in potassium. They're one of the most potassium-rich foods that are around. And potassium works with sodium to help with hydration. As a matter of fact, those are the two, when we talk about electrolytes, we're specifically talking about those two minerals most of the time. One thing you can do is Nuun, which has a good amount of sodium and potassium and not in the table salt form that should impact your blood pressure. Two, I know you probably hear this all the time and you hate it, and I hate it too. Green leafy vegetables, also high in those trace minerals like zinc. Spinach, kale gets like the best rap, but I just think they have the best PR agent or the best marketing campaign, because spinach really is if there was a superfood to be had, it would be that. It has all the trace minerals that you need. So, I mean, it doesn't sound phenomenal, but if you were to make a breakfast smoothie with a couple scoops of protein powder, and unsweetened almond milk, or coconut milk with some spinach and a couple bananas, and right there you've got something to kickstart your day, lower your blood pressure, and set your hydration going in the right direction. So that is something that I would think of, because we don't have to just put salt in. We just need it to accrue in your bloodstream and let your body absorb it over time. So the salt stick can absolutely help on the long runs. I'm not saying don't do that, but it's not an everyday solution. And it might not be an every weekend solution. It's more like a real de vez en cuando type of thing. So let's think about when you're going to need it the most. Try out those Gatorade packs, and it'll tell you how much sodium you burn through in an hour, and then test it again in a similar workout in maybe a month, and play with a few different things in between. And again, I think that's probably where your best bet's going to be. When your doctor runs a series of panels, what they're going to be looking for is anything that's completely out of balance. Part of that's going to be electrolytes. Other things that are worth checking, if you can ask them to do it, B12, vitamin D, because B12 is something that runners tend to go through really quickly, and it's also harder to get nutritionally. We can get it from I almost said fermented yeast. We can get it from nutritional yeast you can get in any of the vegan supplement section in like a Whole Foods or brewer's yeast. Any pill that claims to support your thyroid is going to have a lot of B12 in it. They're also going to tell you to take it at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, which is harder for some people to remember to do. I mean, it's just you're just taking pills all day long, and that can be a pain in the butt. So if you don't feel like doing that, I hear you. But completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So what you're going to ask them to check for it. Yes. So check for the B12 and the D, the vitamin D, that is, and make sure those really would be the most important things, because if you tend towards high blood pressure, then we can probably course correct nutritionally throughout the week. I would also ask for a recommendation to a good registered dietitian, preferably a functional nutritionist who's going to who has some experience working with athletes, because I think also a big part of what's happening right now is your body is just adjusting to the difference in temperature, because it can take months. It's not like, oh, I've been here for 3 days, I'm adapted. It doesn't work that way. Just because you're over the jet lag or the time difference, it really does take about 6 to 8 months to totally metabolize to a new place. It took me a little over a year to get used to the significant decrease in oxygen here in Denver. And I watch people new to the area struggle with it all the time. It's been a month, I should be over it by now. Nope, not true. So there is that. What you're experiencing is very real. I'm willing to bet that you don't have any major deficiencies, because if you did, we would be having a different conversation. We'd be talking about fatigue levels. We would be talking about not being able to sleep at night. We would be talking about you being overtrained in some way or fashion with no good explanation for it. And I'm not seeing any of that. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I doubt you have. Go ahead and get all the tests. There's no reason not to, but I doubt that there's anything wrong. If anything, it would be instead of thinking about filling a hole as though you have a deficit, it would be like, where can I get a little more support? That might be a different way of looking at the same question. But vitamin D and vitamin B12 are two things that runners always need more of, especially in stressful times. So that's it. That's all I had to say. Eat your bananas, eat your spinach, drink it if you have to, just get her done. If you had a marathon, if you had to talk your kids out of Comet Cat, because how Comet Cat snuck into YouTube Kids is still beyond me, but they're going to be getting an earful from me real soon. My kids, I'm going to be sure up all night again with them, Googling, is Comet Cat real? Proving that it isn't, even though you can't prove a negative like that, and begging them to go to sleep. So when Violet poops on the floor, I don't step in it. And that is my life tonight. If you are anywhere other than where I am, I promise you are coached, you are loved, and you're winning at life. Have a good one, y'all.